And while we are a unit and there is, we are married to one another, we do want to keep our professional lives and our work lives to have their own identity. And we don't want our personal life to be the only focus, because you've worked so hard and you've come so far that you want people to still be looking forward to your work and still be talking about that. So sometimes, personally on social media, I don't share too many personal moments in my life. But professionally, I feel very excited to share as much as I can. And I feel that becomes like your little portfolio or like your little, everything that's happening in your life, you keep putting it out there, whether it's promos or what, shoots that you're doing. The first time I felt a sense of this overbearing, like something is overpowering me with social media, was during the time of Satyaprem Ki Katha, when the movie was coming out, because I'd just been married. And I suddenly felt like there was this very weird negativity that was going on about, just certain scenes, usne ye kyun kiya hai, wo kyun kiya hai. And maybe it was to do because, now she's married and all of that. And I just felt like, wait, what has happened here? This is all too new for me, because on one hand, people troll you for very ridiculous things. But on the other hand, people were trolling you because now you're a married actor and you're expected to be or say or do a certain thing. And that got to me slightly. And it got to me in a way that I was not able to just brush it off. I was not able to see past it. It was really affecting me. My team was like, forget it. What's wrong with you?
But you read everything?
I do. It's not a good habit. It's a very bad habit. I read a bit too much. I'm trying not to. But I'm human. I want to know what they're saying, especially when your movies. I don't read on a daily basis, but when your movie's coming out, you're constantly seeing what is the response to whatever promos are coming out. And at that time, I remember there was a little bit of negativity that really got to me, and I didn't even discuss it with my husband. I was just like, I don't want to talk about it, because the minute I talk about it, then I'm going deeper into it. So let's not talk about it. And he had also seen it on his own and did not bring it up because he didn't want to make a big deal of it. And he was the one who explained it to me, and he said, look, there will always be these, these negative trollers, this and that, whatever you want to call them. But if you're going to give so much importance to this and be sitting at home and crying and behaving like, shit has hit the roof right now, what's wrong with you? You don't know them. They don't know you. These could be like certain fans who are not happy we got married. Just let it be. They'll grow up. But why are you going into that? Why are you letting it get to you? And I realized, I said, if he's so mature about it, why am I sitting and feeling all of these things? And that's when I was just like, thank God I have somebody who's got so much wisdom and maturity and experience in this matter to kind of tell me that don't pay attention to this stuff. Just let this stuff go. There's so much happiness. I think as human beings, we tend to, even if there are 15 people saying amazing things about you, you'll tend to look at that one person who's saying something negative.
Always.
And that is something we need to change. That's something I need to change. I realize that I need to focus on these 15 people who've taken out the time to write something so moving and so sweet and so touching. And I'm ignoring them for one person who God knows had a bad day and for no rhyme or reason has given you something that really means nothing. Why am I focusing on that one person? So I think it kind of puts things into perspective. It makes you realize that you need to focus on the positive. And in a world of social media, there's a lot of, there's both. There's positives, there's negatives. You have to focus on the positives if you want to be a sane person in this industry, for sure, any industry actually.
Yeah. But it's wonderful that Sid is able to help you steer through these.
In this case, he really did. I have to say that.
Here's a question, Kiara, that I ask all actors whose partners are also actors. Because in my head, I always tell them that I feel like two actors must be sitting and just discussing process and what did you do and this is what I did and this really helped. And everyone's like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Does that happen? Or this is just my fantasy about two actors being in a marriage?
No, we definitely don't do that. We watch good films together and we do chat about that.
And your taste is the same?
Not always. But it's interesting because now we're both open to or rather, I am more open to different genres. I'm a bit of a, I'm someone who'll end up watching the same genre. Like, I love romance films. I'm happy to be the brand ambassador of romantic films because I absolutely love any day, rainy day. It's my comfort space. It's the movie. It's my go-to genre. He, on the other hand, of course, is he likes to watch action. He likes to watch much more. I think his palette is wider, and he's introduced me to many more interesting films, actors, filmmakers. I was that kid who always watched only Hindi movies. So now we watch a variety of stuff thanks to all the platforms and all the multiple languages. But it's interesting. I think it's interesting when there are two actors at home because you share experiences and you share. There's common interests. Or you've been in situations where you can kind of help and guide the other person as well. So it's interesting. I think in our case, I feel it's been quite helpful in that sense. I feel he's also more mature than me. He's seen more than me. He's been in this industry a few years longer than I have. So it's easy to sit and understand what one's going through, or you understand a person. When you've had a hard day of work and maybe you just don't want to talk to someone and you just want to be, but you want the person to be by your side, but just don't talk to me, don't ask me questions. We both have that. We're like, but you be here, you be in the room, but let's just do our own thing. And that's lovely. I feel like if you're able to do that and just be in silence.
It's what my children say, let's spend quality time apart.
That's what I've told my mother all my life. And now fortunately my husband gets it as well.
You talked about keeping your professional lives having separate identities. What do you, Kiara, find most exciting about being a financially independent woman?
Well, firstly, I must say that it's a luxury. I wish that every single woman is able to be financially independent. I really thank my father who insured both his children, and he always told me, he said, whatever you do in life, I want you to be financially independent. Whoever you marry, whatever you decide to do, be financially independent. Have your own, identity, and don't be dependent on anyone, not even your own parents. And I feel for me that's empowered me to make the decisions that I make, to make the choices that I make. I remember a couple of years ago, I didn't know where I was headed in life. I mean, of course, as an actor, I did, but I didn't know my personal life. I didn't know when I was going to be married or whatever. But I knew one thing. I said, before I get married, I want to buy my own home.
Really?
And I said, I have to do this for myself. And my dad nudged me. He pushed me. He said, you're doing well and you're capable. Take a loan, go ahead. And we had seen a particular property and I was a little skeptical. I said, no, but how would I pay it back? How will I do it? He said, you're going to work harder if you take that loan. So you go ahead and do this. Do it for yourself. And I did it. And it's been very easy to, work harder when you have something, or when you have to pay back, or you have that loan on your head, and you push yourself that much more. Not that I wasn't working hard anyway, but that has been easy to do. But I also feel a great sense of accomplishment because I feel like today, whether I'm living in that home or not, my parents are. And I've done it for them. And this is just a stepping stone. There'll be many more decisions that I'll make in my life like that. But for me, that was a great sense of accomplishment. And I think anyone sitting in this audience would feel that way, that if you're, the day you're able to buy your first home, it's a huge achievement. It's a huge feeling that I was able to do this, especially in Mumbai, where the prices are skyrocketing. For me, that was my first feeling of accomplishment, of being financially independent, of not having anyone's help in doing this. Of course, my parents were always there to support me, but just to be able to do this for myself and for them just made me feel so fulfilled. And I honestly thank my dad. I feel he sits with me every now and then, telling me to sit on my finances and understand, where I'm spending my money, where to invest, what to do. He's like, you need to be on top of it. You cannot be going from your father's house to your husband's house and putting that on anybody else. You need to be in charge of it. And sometimes as women, we tend to we know there are dads there, you know, there's a male counterpart who will help us out. But no, I think as women, we're capable of doing anything and everything we put our mind to. And if we're working and if we are financially independent, we should be well informed of our finances. And I know when my father watches this video, he's going to show it to me tomorrow and sit with me and say, now that you've said this, sit with me and understand the next plan of action when it comes to your finances. I've given this whole thing, and when I'm at home, I'm like, oh God, today's finance day. I'm like, you know, I don't want to do math and I don't want to know about these different investment plans and all of that. But he's like, you need to be aware of it. And yeah, I think as women, we need to take charge. We cannot leave it to the men.
But hats off for buying your own house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much. It's always lovely to speak with you. Thank you, and thank you to all of you for being such a lovely audience.
Thank you.